Marcus Aurelius Meditations on Modern Loneliness. 10 Stoic Rules for Social Sovereignty. You are drowning in a sea of digital connections but starving for a single soul that truly understands you. Most people are emotional beggars pleading for a like to feel alive. But today, you become a social phantom. If you want the empire, subscribe to the silence. Pay close attention to the sovereign key at number 8, the freedom ratio at number 5, and the final death of the ego at number 1. Now, let's begin with number 10. 10. The mirror of approval is always distorted. You wake up and the first thing you do is seek validation from a screen. You look at your feed to see if the world has noticed you yet. If the world smiles, you feel worthy. If the world is silent, you feel like a failure. This is the greatest mistake a man can make in the digital age. You have handed the remote control of your internal peace to people who don't even know your middle name. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his Meditations that it never ceases to amaze him how we all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinion than our own. Imagine a master sculptor in ancient Rome. He spends years in a dark room, chipping away at cold marble. He doesn't show the half-finished work to the neighbors. He doesn't ask for their feedback on the rough edges or the unpolished stone. He knows what he is building because he sees the image in his mind. He is sovereign because his approval comes from the work, not the witness. You must become that sculptor. Build your body, build your bank account, and build your mind in total privacy. If you don't need them to see it, they can never take it away from you. Do you actually trust your own judgment? Or are you waiting for a heart icon to tell you that you've done a good job? This need for approval is a chain, and as hard as it is to break, it is even harder to stop the noise that creates the need for it. Which leads to number 9. 9. The information fast. Your loneliness is being manufactured by the very tools you use to stay connected. You are doom scrolling through the highlights of other people's lives, comparing your messy behind the scenes to their filtered red carpet. You feel a sense of lack, a digital hunger that can never be filled. The more you watch, the more you feel like a ghost in your own life. Marcus Aurelius taught that the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. If your thoughts are filled with the frantic, fake, and frantic lives of others, your soul will become a pale imitation of reality. You are inviting 1,000 strangers into your mind every morning before you've even had a chance to think for yourself. Stop. Treat your attention like a billion-dollar investment. You wouldn't throw a handful of gold into the street for no reason. So why do you throw your focus at a feed that makes you feel small? The ghost millionaire is selective. He uses the tools. He doesn't let the tools use him. He understands that in 2026, being uninformed about the noise is the only way to stay informed about the truth. How much of your day is spent living your life, and how much is spent watching others live theirs? If you can master the feed, you can finally start to master the silence. But the silence is where the real war begins, and that is why number 8 is so critical. 8. The sovereign key. Note this well. This is the first loop in our protocol. True power is found in the one place everyone else is running away from. You are terrified of being alone in a quiet room. You need a podcast. You need background noise. You need a distraction to drown out the voice of your own conscience. You think the silence is empty, but the silence is actually full. It is full of the truths you are too afraid to hear. There is a specific mental shift, a ghost protocol, that allows you to own your future before it even happens. It is the secret to moving through the world with total certainty while everyone else is shaking in fear. Most people think sovereignty comes from money, but the sovereign key proves that money is just the result of a mind that is no longer afraid of its own company. Imagine a deep-sea diver. As he goes deeper, the noise of the waves vanishes. The light fades. There is only the sound of his own breathing. Most people are afraid of the deep. They want to stay on the surface where it's loud and sunny. But the treasure is at the bottom. I will reveal the exact nature of this key at the very end. But for now, ask yourself, what is the one thing in your life right now that you are fighting, that you should be using? If you can't be happy alone, you will never be happy in a crowd. You will just be a beggar looking for a distraction. When you stop fearing the empty chair, you start to realize that solitude isn't a prison. It's a palace, but you must be careful who you let into the gates. Which brings us to number 7. 7. The mask of neutrality. In the age of digital noise, fake friends are the most expensive debt you can carry. You have a circle of people who only like the version of you that serves them. You are afraid to say no, afraid to set boundaries, afraid to be the bad guy. You are trading your integrity for a sense of belonging to a group that wouldn't help you if the cameras weren't rolling. Marcus Aurelius lived in a world of betrayal and political lies. He wrote that we should be like the stone against which the waves continually break, standing firm while the water faints around us. Think of your integrity as a currency. Every time you agree with a lie, every time you stay in a toxic room, every time you act fake to fit in, you are spending your gold. By the end of the year, you are spiritually bankrupt. The ghost millionaire has a circle of one. He would rather be alone with his values than in a palace with vipers. He understands that sovereignty isn't about having 1,000 friends. It's about having a zero-tolerance policy for fake energy. Are you keeping people in your life because you love them, or because you're afraid of the silence they leave behind? Put on the mask of neutrality. Be friendly, but not a friend. Be present, but not involved. Let the world wonder what you are thinking while you build your empire in the dark. If you can accept being unknown, you lose the fear of what others think. And that is where the flow begins. 6. Amor fati and the detours of fate. You are fighting the current of your life and wondering why you are exhausted. You think that if a plan fails, if a relationship ends, or if you lose your job, that the world is ending. You see every obstacle as a wall, when it is actually a door. The Stoic masters practiced amor fati, the love of fate. Marcus Aurelius believed that everything that happens is fuel for the fire. If the fire is strong, it consumes everything you throw at it and grows brighter. Think of a sailor in a storm. He doesn't yell at the waves. He doesn't ask the wind to be nicer to him. He adjusts the sails. He loves the storm because the storm is the only way to test his skill. If he only sailed in sunny weather, he would be a weak sailor. You are being tested right now. That loneliness you feel, that rejection you suffered, it is the storm. Don't wish it away. Use it to tack. Use it to find the parts of yourself that are still soft and harden them. If you love what happens, you can never be a victim. You are always the master of the result. What if every no you ever received was actually a yes to your own sovereignty? This leads us to the midpoint, the breakthrough at number 5. 5. The freedom ratio. This is the major breakthrough for your life in 2026. Most people are working for a life they don't have time to live. Seneca wrote that it is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it. The freedom ratio is the mathematical difference between your mandatory time and your discretionary time. Imagine a man who earns $1 million a year, but he has to work 80 hours a week to keep it. He is a high-paid slave. He has no sovereignty. Now, imagine a man who earns $50,000, but it comes from systems he built that require 0 hours of his time. He is a king. He owns his Tuesdays. He owns his mornings. This is the breakthrough the ghost millionaire seeks. We don't chase the highest salary. We chase the highest ratio. We want to own our time so we can own our thoughts. This ratio is fueled by the sovereign key we discussed earlier. When you stop needing to buy things to impress people, your mandatory expenses drop, and your freedom ratio explodes. Stay with me, because number 1 will show you the final reveal of how to flip this ratio in your favor forever. Are you living your life, or are you just managing your schedule for someone else's profit? 4. The internal ledger. You are seeking proof of your worth from a world that is blind. You think that a bank statement, a job title, or a blue checkmark makes you a man of status. But these are external, and anything external can be taken away. If you are a king because you have a crown, you are not a king. The crown is the master. Marcus Aurelius lived in a palace, but he slept on a soldier's bed. He kept an internal ledger. He measured himself by his discipline, by the temptations he refused, and by the clarity of his thoughts. He knew that the only real progress is the progress of the soul. Think of your mind as a vault. Most of you are filling it with the opinions of people who don't even know you. You are checking your social media to see if you are allowed to be happy today. Stop. Build an internal ledger. Set your own goals. If you hit your workout, if you finish your deep work, if you stay silent when you want to scream, mark it down. These are the ghost assets. While the world is busy flexing their leaves, you are busy thickening your roots. When the winter of 2026 comes, the leaves will freeze and die, but the root will stay warm. Build a worth that doesn't need a witness. If no one ever knew how much money you had, would you still want it? 3. The wealth of few wants. You are trying to fill a hole in your soul with products that were designed to keep you empty. You buy the new phone, the new car, the status clothes, because you think it will cure your loneliness. But all it does is make you a well-dressed slave. You have to work a job you hate to pay for a life you don't enjoy to impress people you don't like. Epictetus, who was born a slave, taught that wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. He was freer than the men who owned him because he wanted nothing they could give him. Imagine the ghost millionaire lifestyle. He wears a simple black shirt every day. He eats simple, clean food. He has a 10-year-old car that runs like a tank. Because he wants nothing. He can do anything. He can quit his job tomorrow. He can tell the truth to anyone's face. His wealth is his freedom, not his collection. You are only as poor as your cravings. If you can master your desire, you become the most powerful person in the room because you cannot be bribed. Is your stuff serving you, or are you serving your stuff? Once you own nothing, nothing can own you, not even the fear of being left alone. 2. The grave in the garden. The thought of your end is the only thing that can give you a true future. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself every morning, you could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think. This is the ultimate filter for the noise of 2026. Most of what you worry about is garbage that won't matter in your final hour. Imagine you are standing at your own funeral. You are looking down at the body in the casket. Does it matter what that person said about you on the internet? Does it matter if you were invited to that party? Does it matter what brand of shoes you are wearing? No. The only thing that matters is the quality of your character and the strength of your mind. Use the grave to burn away the trash. If it won't matter when you are 80, it doesn't matter now. Stop giving your energy to ghosts. The future is only scary if you have something to lose. But if you have already given everything to your purpose, you have nothing left to fear. Are you spending your time on things that will last, or things that will rot? 1. The death of the audience. We reach the end, the final reveal, the secret of the sovereign key. The highest form of sovereignty is living as if the entire world is empty. Listen closely. Your final chain is the belief that someone is watching. Even when you are alone, you are performing for an imaginary audience. You act cool. You pose. You imagine what you would say in an interview that will never happen. You are never truly alone because your mind is a crowded theater of, what will they think? Marcus Aurelius concluded that everything is as it is because of its own nature, and praise adds nothing to its beauty. This is the ultimate rule. Kill the audience. Imagine you are the last human on earth. There is no one to impress, no one to judge you, no one to give you a badge. What would you do today? How would you work? How would you train? That is the version of you that is sovereign. That is the ghost millionaire. He works as if he is the only person in the universe. He doesn't need an audience because he is his own witness. He has died to the world, and in that death, he has finally found the power to live. The sovereign key is the total rejection of the need to be understood. When you stop needing the world to see your truth, you finally have the power to live it. We have traveled from the mirror of approval to the death of the audience. The world of 2026 wants you to be a reactive, lonely, and dependent slave. But you have the code now. The ghost millionaire chooses the inner citadel. We choose the wealth of few wants. We choose social sovereignty. Your challenge for today is simple. Spend 1 hour tonight in total silence. No phone, no music, just you and your thoughts. Do not run from the person you find in that room. Master that person, and you will master the world. If this wisdom has struck a chord, hit the like button. Subscribe to The Ghost Millionaire. We are building an empire in the shadows, and your seat is waiting. Go now. Be quiet. Be wealthy. Be a ghost. Silence is the only true sovereignty.